Sometimes songs can become completely different animals from the original sketch idea once a group has had time to grow with them. Stranded in South Pity may have been one of those, as it has so many embellishments featuring some great piano, clarinet and fiddle work. Or did you always have these arrangements in mind straight from the get-go?
Stranded in South Pity was written by my friend Larry Rhodes, who is one of the three Asheville songwriters that I paid tribute to on Ashes and Dust. I used to sneak into this folk club in my hometown and see Larry Rhodes and Ray Sisk and Malcolm Holcomb and people like that performing when I was starting at 14 years old. Larry is an amazing songwriter, and Stranded in South Pity was always one of my favorite songs. Once we became friends and he took me under his wing, I started playing that song with him quite a bit. He always played it just by himself on acoustic guitar, but when I would join him, sometimes I would play acoustic, sometimes I would play electric. For these recordings, I thought, what if we took it to like a New Orleans meets Django Reinhardt, Stefan Grappelli sort of direction. So there's a lot of improv, a lot of embellishing, as you say, and it's one of my favorite performances on the record because we really get to stretch out far beyond the structure of the original song.
Spots of Time is a track you have performed for the Allman Brothers and certainly works well on this recording. Tell us about that track.
Spots of Time I wrote with Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead a few years ago, and then the Allman Brothers started performing it live the last 3 or 4 years. It would have been on the final Allman Brothers recording had we made that recording, which we never did. So I decided to include it here, and I invited Oteil Burbridge and Mark Quinones from the Allman Brothers to join me on the recording. And it's one of the centerpieces of the record. It's the longest song on the record, and really captures this nice improv that we were able to muster up in the studio.
You are one of the most musically generous artists to your fans, as I believe you have a deluxe version of Ashes and Dust coming out to give further insights into your music meaning. Tell us about that.
The deluxe version of Ashes and Dust has some extensive liner notes that I wrote specifically for the occasion. It has 5 recordings of 4 demos that I did before the songs got recorded, and 1 live performance of one of the songs that I really like. A lot of photos that are, some are behind the scenes, some are just beautiful Danny Clinch photos that I thought were really nice and that should be included. We just like to be a fan-friendly organization, and doing something like a deluxe version of this is indicative of that.
Are there any more plans for a new Govt Mule album?
The next Govt Mule record, which will probably get started when I finish touring behind Ashes and Dust, I think will be completely different from Shout. Shout, I think, was a great way to wrap up what we had done going into our 20th anniversary. I think there's a little bit of everything there, a little bit of all of our influences. For the next record, I would really like to just shake it up and go somewhere completely different, which would mean maybe going back to the beginning and also going and pursuing some influences that we haven't pursued in the past as well. Having said that, I could be completely wrong, but that's my prediction.